go there, but they are. Look at that, that was slick, wasn't it? So MXY 1 and 2 just setting off from the line. MXY2 being 250F, MXY1 being 125. So 125, 250s mixed together, scored separately. So let's see who's going to cross the line for the Planet Moto points. So, there we are. I'm going to get the first across the line. So it was Corey Collins that was first across the line in the MXY. So Corey Collins coming through there, getting those valuable 5 Planet Moto points. Planet Moto obviously providing a holiday for whoever wins the most points throughout the Michelin MX Nationals Championship fueled by Milwaukee. They are putting on a week's holiday for the winner. Luxury accommodation, bike out there in Spain, take you to the tracks, the full works. So really, really cool prize for somebody to win. Absolutely free. All you got to do is cross the line first. So that's Corey Collins out front, and it's Sam Atkins. Sam Atkinson's got quite a good start as well. So round the outside, Sam goes now. Sam Atkinson just round the outside of Corey Collins, carrying that corner speed, just maintaining. And now the track is how the track is now, you're really going to have to put a lot of thought into line choice and making sure that you can stay up in the RPMs and keep the wheels turning. It's all about momentum. Like if you listen to any of the fast, like sand specialists, Jeffrey Hurlins, if you watch that guy ride, it's all down to momentum. No throttle chopping, no burn bashing. It's all keeping the wheels turning, rolling on the ground and getting traction. So Sam Atkinson now leading the way. Yeah, Sam, obviously, well, he's riding for the Phoenix Tools Kawasaki team. Talked to Carlton Husband yesterday, I had a quick chat with him, and said the bike this year is much better. That new Kawasaki with the electric start and everything, whole new engine, much better package. So Sam Atkinson on a good bike, and looks to be in a very comfortable position at the moment. But having said that, Alfie Jones is coming. Alfie Jones is there. We know how strong Alfie Jones has been throughout the weekend. Jude Morris looks fired up and racy as well. So Jude Morris looking really comfortable, but Jones at the minute, again, looks like the strongest rider on the track in that sort of khaki camo gear on the black bike, running the red plate as well. So Sam Atkinson is really going to have to work for this one, because well, Sam Atkinson, Alfie Jones and Jude Morris really close together at the minute on the track. They're sort of breaking away from the lead rider in the MXY1, which is Bailey Johnson, followed by Ollie Colmer, I think, at the moment. So Colmer coming through on that GRT whole shot Husqvarna, KTM. I'll get there.
So
I did a U then.
Where people keep swapping and changing. What's the matter with them?
It's the same thing, isn't it? You know, we might as well just start saying KTM Group. I noticed the other day on TV, Roger DeCosta was wearing a jacket. First time I've ever seen it. Gas, KTM, Husqvarna on one jacket, and it just said KTM Group underneath it. So, you may as well just stop.
Listen, if the man is doing it, I'll let you call it.
Roger DeCosta is the man, isn't he?
So yeah, Atkinson, well, you know, he got off to a, well, riding-wise, brilliant start yesterday. Led most of the race, and then the bike just gave up on him. I think it said just lost water or oil. It happens. But this is a good race in the 125s as well, just behind them. Really is. You've got Bailey Johnson.
I wonder if, you know, because of that, I wonder if he's actually riding on a training bike now. I don't know. have to maybe get a word from the team, but I wonder if it was his race bike that went pop. He might actually be on a practice bike.
Yeah, could well be.
So actually, Alfie Jones now went round the outside of Sam Atkinson. So Alfie Jones again displaying dominance in this MXY2 class. Still leading the way in MXY1. Bailey Johnson looking great. Ollie Colmer, though, is there and is applying pressure. So those two disappearing from the rest of the pack. But having said that, Charlie Heyman's there, just behind of Tyler Westcott right now. Obviously, talking to Charlie Heyman's father, he's got a little bit of an issue at the minute with his stomach muscles. There was a crash and his muscles are actually sort of bulging out of his stomach, so he's in quite a lot of discomfort. Obviously, there's some sort of hematoma going on there, or a big, large amount of swelling. So I imagine Charlie Heyman's in a bit of survival mode right now. It can't be comfortable, especially in the abdominal area as well.
No, you don't need that in your life, and you don't need that riding around FatCat.
Definitely not.
In your life. But this is it, you see. This is it. Motocross is brutal. That's what we do. We've had the official timing confirmation. Timing and scoring for the overall victory at round 1 for the 85cc Open. And it was indeed Billy Askew with an 87 points haul taking the overall here at round 1 of the championship. So he'll be going into Hawkstone with the red plate. Tyler Hooley still got second overall.
But damage control.
Well, yeah, he'll be gutted though.
I hope he's okay.
New race leader, by the way. While I was calling that, Alfie Jones has now gone into the lead past Sam Atkinson, but Sam's going to fight back round the outside.
He looks good, Sam does at the minute. He's sort of, oh, look at the momentum he's just carried into there, but it is wide. That corner, when you do get the outside, you do lose. I mean, it's a lot of track. It is a lot of track compared to the inside, but Sam doing the right thing, riding on different lines, you know, from Alfie Jones. He's just staying on his own line, trying to get out of the, you know, basically setting up passing opportunities for himself. It's the only thing he can do now. But Alfie Jones looks good. It's been in control all weekend.
So going back to the overalls for the 85s, for those of you, because we're not going to see them again on the live stream. They're done for the weekend, round 1. So yeah, it was Billy Askew taking the overall win in the 85 big wheel ahead of Tyler Hooley. And the final place on the box, third, goes to Josh Vale. Ben Musto came in 4th overall on the weekend ahead of Ryan Waggett. Harrison Greenoff getting 5th ahead of Ashton Bowden. Then it was Max Harris. He got 8th ahead of Kyron Karen. And Brett Kelly rounded out the top 10 in the big wheel 85. In the small wheel 85s, absolutely no doubt about the race winner. Smashed it out of the park. Cole McCulloch on the GRT whole shot KTM. Romping to victory with 4 straight moto wins. Second on the SJP race team was Reese Jones, number 104. Brandon Buckley on the Passion Racing Gas came in 3rd to put it on the box ahead of Freddie Gardner on the Team Matt Gardner MX. Then it was Chester Hyde for 5th. Harlow Green on the Brian Goss Racing Gas came in 6th ahead of Drew Scott. Hayden Statt, little Hayden Statt, he got a lot of airtime. We like seeing him on screen because he's tiny, but tiny in stature, big in commitment. He finished 8th ahead of Alfie Osborne and Zane Stevens from all the way down there in Cornwall coming in 10th place. There you go. That's the overalls for the 85 from round 1.
I'll tell you what, they were being efficient with all this timing, aren't they? They've got it right on lock today.
We got Kath Burridge and Roy on the case.
On it
down there. They know what they don't. They've forgotten more about timing than we'll ever remember.
Probably.
No doubt.
Yeah.
So this is the Bell and Race Effects MXY class, MX Youth, 125s and 250s. Alfie Jones is leading the 250 category. And in the 125s,
I tell you,
Bailey Johnson leading the way.
I tell you what, they better be getting fed up of looking at the back of Alfie Jones this weekend. He's a big, strong lad that's cut out for this stuff. You know, for a tough motocross race, round a track like FatCats, you need to have a bit of grit about you. And you just look at him, he looks tough. Having said that, Sam Atkinson, really, for the first time this weekend, is actually putting up a big old fight with him. He's still on the back of him, Jeff.
Yeah, Sam will go. Oh, we got to get this race. This is a brilliant race going on for the lead here in the MX2. Look at Sam Atkinson. Wow, what a launch out of there.
Good to see him actually. Not just being passed and submitting.
Here we go. Now we got them back on screen. Tom, our producer, and the Alpha Live crew doing an amazing job picking up the leaders right on cue. Here we go then. Because Sam Atkinson is fighting back. Look at this on the Phoenix Tools. A Pico Kawasaki against the MXM KTM of Elfie Jones. He's going to put it. He's going to stuff it. No, Elfie's too big and burly. What a race, though.
He could have been. Sam could have forced the issue a bit there.
Right. Now, this is the deal with this. Elfie has won 3 motos.
Yes.
And he's in a great spot to win the overall. He doesn't need to win this. 3 moto wins and a second. But
flip the coin.
But then you're going for a maximum.
You have to, but flip the coin. Sam, obviously, he's probably got a bit more of a clearer mindset. Like, well, I've got to win this race.
Well, after that first one,
you know, I have to win this race because it's so important. Like, he's got to undo some of this damage.
I don't think a tough one, isn't it? At round 1, I mean, it's a big deal to get a maximum point score on a clean sweep, but you've got to also try and think about championship. If Elfie's in control here, I'm sure he'll go for the race win. If he starts to get pushed and he starts to make mistakes, I think he'll be sensible enough.
Yeah, but that's where maturity is going to come in, isn't it? We've seen Tyler Hooley had a DNF and he still got second overall on the weekend. It's damaging, but it's not the end of the world. You know, like, so Sam, I think, is in a good position at the minute. But looking at it, Alfie Jones looks like he's pulled his finger out a little bit.
Well, I would say with Alfie, he come up to the class last year on a 125. He's a big lad. His starts weren't great last year. That seems to be something he's worked on. His starts have definitely been better than what we've seen from him in a long time here this weekend. And, of course, motocross is a tough deal. But if you can get a good start in a motocross race, it's not the be-all and end-all, but my God, it makes a difference. You're not getting filled in with roost. You're not buried mid-pack where incidents can happen. And it's made a difference to Alfie Jones.
But the great thing about motocross as well is if you do get a mid-pack start, it's not like getting a big mid-pack start in F1 or MotoGP where you're going to finish mid-pack. There's so many variables that make it able to push through. We saw Conrad Muse do it, come from mid-pack to the front of the pro of the fastest 40, and that is something that I love about motocross that just does not happen in other sports, especially tarmac sports.
No, it's definitely sorts the men out from the boys. The track variants and how things change, how the track change. I mean, look at this track now from how we saw these guys in Moto 1.
Yeah, and on the screen, I promise you, it does not do it justice. There'd be ruts up to your knees if you walk this track at the end of the day. It would shock you. Have you ever walked the track after a GP, you know, like Lommel or something, and you're just like, what the F? You can't even believe that people have been racing around it.
Walk the track. I've had to race a GP. Yeah. The last thing I want to do at the end of the day is go and look at it. It'll scare me to death. So Alfie Jones with that red plate still leading. As Atkinson made a little bit of a mistake, maybe. Bailey Johnson looking good on the 125 in the 125 categories, third in the race. He's still ahead of Ollie Colmer, so that's the battle. So basically we've got 2 MX2 riders out front on the 250s. Riders 3 and 4 are battling for 125cc supremacy.
That's what we want.
Yeah.
That's what we want. The top guys at the front there, like, and it just and it shows you that the 125 kids, maybe a bit younger, a bit smaller, maybe, you know, lighter kids, they've still got it. Especially when you look back at like Bobby Bruce fighting for it in the experts. These 125 rip. They absolutely do rip. And these kids coming through like Ollie Colmer, Bailey Johnson, Charlie Heyman, they are the next cream of the crop to come through. They really are. We've got a big batch of special kids brewing in the big pot of motocross at the minute.
Yeah, we got some talented riders in the UK, as proven. Riders like Ben Watson, Conrad Muse, they all came through the youth ranks in the UK, started out. And
we're in a good place.
Yeah, there's talent there. We just need to nurture it, and hopefully the Michelin MX Nationals powered by Milwaukee will do just that. Jude Morris is having another solid ride on the gas. He is in third in the MXY2 category. He's fifth in the race. Ollie Colmer is on the GRT whole shot KTM, is really keeping the pressure on Bailey Johnson. We'll try and get Bailey on the screen in a while. Bailey Johnson leading the 125s, followed by Ollie Colmer.
So also Alfie Jones, only rider on track under 2 minutes lap time, which is, in my view, a step towards that Kex fastest lap award. So Alfie Jones, the only rider on track, sub 2 minutes at the minute. So he's after a pair of new skidders, isn't he? He
is, isn't he? Yeah, yeah. Because having raced motocross, particularly sandy circuits, you know what it's like when you go around a corner and you actually, the roost tail off the back of your own bike loops up round, goes down the back of your neck.
Down.
And then, without getting too graphic,
it's everywhere.
Yeah, by the end of the moto, in some cases, it's like you've ridden with a sheet of sandpaper between your butt cheeks.
It is. It's disgusting.
It is disgusting.
Especially when you sort of ride in Honda Park at 30 degrees. And you're coming out the corners and you hit the gas and you just feel that cold trickle of sand go down your top.
I don't think we're selling the sport to anybody that's thinking about taking it up.
It's absolutely fantastic. It's so clean. The dirt actually cleanses your skin. Is that better?
That's better.
Yeah,
Much
we'll go
better.
with that.
It's a great sport. Get involved with it, people. Either riding or come along. Maybe you can train to be a mechanic. Maybe you'll end up being a sports photographer. We welcome the media here at the Michelin MX Nationals.
100% we do.
We want more photographers, more videos here highlighting our beautiful sport. So if you want to get involved media-wise, go on our website, see where you can apply an application, and then we'll look for it. Obviously, we're going to give you a media pass if you are legitimately supplying photography, video content for teams or websites such as, like Dirt Hub, Motohead, Dirt Bike Rider,
all those
Gate
guys.
Drop, those guys, all that. Let's just get as many of you guys here and let's get our beautiful sport out there for more people to see.
I got to say, there was tons of photographers here yesterday, the working for teams and things like that. I noticed loads of old faces, and a couple of. There's a kid I know who lives pretty close to me. He's actually hung the boots up himself when he's picked the camera up because that's what he wants to stay involved in the sport,
Great.
And that's really cool. You might be watching and think, oh, damn, I love this sport. Maybe you can't afford to get into it. It's not. Motorsport isn't accessible for everybody, but you can still pick up a camera and enjoy the damn thing. You can turn up at the weekends and enjoy it. This sport needs fans.
Absolutely.
It needs fans.
And as you can see, if you're watching motocross for the first time, it's not like we've seen some motorsports. You could argue Formula One, with all its technical stuff, as great as it is. Sometimes I've watched a Formula One race where the only time you'll see a change of position is when they pit stop. That doesn't happen in a motocross race.
No.
You might get a guy that gets the lead and rides off into the distance, but somewhere in that race, there's a battle royal going on somewhere.
Someone could have come from 20th to win or anything. I think the thing is with motocross, and I think the thing that's sort of hindered it for the last sort of 10 years, right? Tell me if I'm wrong. F1,
I will.
F1, MotoGP, British Superbike. You get fans of those sports because they're not, to the average man who earns an average salary, it can never be achievable. So you get fans of those sports. The difference with motocross, majority of people can go pick a bike up for a couple of grand and go riding on the weekend. It is an accessible motorsport, and it's probably one of the only accessible motorsport. And that's why you don't get the fans like we used to, I think, back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, because now people can just go ride them themselves.
Yeah.
People just want to go ride, and that's cool. I love that.
As I said, the last 2 or 3 months in the industry has been booming. Sales have skyrocketed.
Yeah, they have. Power sports in general,
Absolutely.
it's just gone crazy.
So that's a good thing. We got 1 lap to go. Barry Ward, our flagman, is on the case as Ollie Colmer comes across the line. 1 lap to go for Alfie Jones to make it a clean sweep in the MXY2 250 class. And it looks like Bailey Johnson is on track to possibly win the overall in the 125s.
our spotter, Chris, has just highlighted, there's lots of riders taking their hands off the bars and shaking them out.
Good spot.
Definitely arm pump. So when the circuit gets like this, it's so jarring on the arms, isn't it?
Good. Explain this to me, because I'm one of the fortunate ones that have never suffered with arm pump.
I get it.
You do.
I can ride through it by concentrating on what I'm doing with my legs a little bit, but I still get it. I'm a human being. You're obviously not. Sometimes when the circuit gets so tough on the arms and you actually start controlling the bike with the upper part of the body, which is obviously not what you should be doing, but as you tire, sometimes there's no other option, then your arms pump up and you'll see the riders just trying to shake their hands out on the jumps just to get some of that circulation back in their arms. Worst one for me, I actually get a numb hand. My my throttle hand, just goes numb. For no reason. No, I think it must be carpal tunnel or something. But literally, if I take my hand off the bars for a second, it's gone. So these riders, not only do they have mechanical things, they actually have to look after their own bodies as well.
So Alfie Jones crosses the line, gets a clean sweep. Callum, with his arm pump, is off down there to interview him. Don't get arm pump holding that microphone. So, so Callum explaining there what arm pump is all about. Obviously, if you've got to bear in mind that your hands are constantly moving, you're pulling your fingers in and out. You could do it at home while you're watching over the next race. Just constantly move your fingers in and out while you're watching the next moto and see how long before your forearms go solid.
So, Bailey, that was good, wasn't it? So 125, bit tough out there probably with the 250Fs. But how did you do it? How did you manage the race, and what do you feel?
Well, I managed to get a better start this race, and managed to stay up the front and keep the lead all the way, and just keep my stamina at a good level now with my training.
Yeah, you putting a lot of work into that, because I saw Colmo was pressuring you the whole way around then, and you managed to just stay composed and get on with the job.
Yeah, I've been working a lot over winter, and even up to races during the week. I'm always trying to improve myself every week.
Yeah, it's great. Well done.
Cheers.
Let's have another one. Well, how was that, Alfie? That was a tough... You had to fight for that one then, didn't you? Sam was pressuring you. How do you feel? Anyone you got to thank? What you got to say?
First of all, I'd like to thank Middlesex MX, get my bike ready for this year, Shore Haulage, SHJ, Commercial Lettings, Arc Joinery, Rip and Roll, CI Sports, Rock Oil. I'd like to thank Planet Moto for a good winter over in Spain, and just everyone else that helps out. Could do it without them, and Debt Pipes.
Mate, that was hard work, wasn't it? You came in here and you were like, I am hot. It is warm now. I was saying I'm sat up there in a greenhouse. I'm not out there doing a workout, but that was tough, wasn't it?
Yeah. It just makes all the hard work that you put in off the bike worth it. These conditions are just probably the hardest I've ever rode in. The heat kills you out and the track's brutal.
Yeah, especially going from 10 degrees last week to now 20 plus. But well done, mate.
Thank you very much.
Good luck for the